Hello, everyone. Welcome back to From Scarcity to Abundance with your host, Blaine Tesfaye Collins. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here for another weekly podcast episode. Today's episode is deeply personal, but before I get into the details, how are you? How is life? How's everything? Happy almost 4th of July. I hope you have a wonderful celebration with your family and friends and just have a good time. I am posting this episode later than I expected or wanted because I truly am recovering from a crown by my dentist, and it was a lot, but thank you. My Phil's Dental Group is amazing in San Diego, California. I love them. They did a great job. But yeah, your girl was just in pain for a day and a half. Anywho, like I said, today's episode is deeply personal. So I want you to grab your coffee, your tea, your diet sodas. I recently just discovered the Trader Joe's matcha lemonade. And let me tell you all, that's a good one. She's a keeper, and I want more ASAP Rocky. But since it's evening time in San Diego, I have my sleepy time tea. I had some magnesium glycinate to prepare to go to sleep. And I'm excited for the festivities for July 4th. I wanted to share something near and dear to my heart. This episode is called Cult Mind Control. We were talking about something that shaped and nearly broke my identity. And this is what it was. So cult mind control. This isn't just about those documentaries you see on Netflix or the scary headlines in the news. It's about how anyone, especially someone searching for belonging or purpose, me, and anyone else who's gone through this and been in a cult, can get pulled into something that slowly, quietly, and powerfully takes over your mind. Part one of this discussion is, what is cult mind control? Let's start with what cult mind control actually looks like. Psychologist Stephen Hassan developed something called the BITE model. BITE stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. Cults control your behavior. Where you go, who you talk to, what you wear, the rules, regulations, how you spend your time, your relationship with your family. They dive deep when they build that trust. They restrict information. You can't read or watch anything outside the group, particularly even what the world has to say about the group, because, that's the outside in, and they tell you the world is evil, or they just don't understand us. It's like a you versus them thing, which is quite ridiculous and narcissistic, and all the love bombing and control aspects that come with being in a cult. Then comes thought control. You're discouraged from questioning. Even thinking critically is a rebellion or a lack of faith, which is like verbatim what I was told. And finally, emotional control. They use guilt, fear, shame to keep you obedient, to keep you silent, to keep you, submissive, and to keep you just in the way that they want you, to control you. You're not allowed to feel anything except for gratitude and submission or fear of being cast out, which is like, imagine being in a religious group and just dedicating your entire life to it. And you didn't realize it was a cult or a high control group, and you were there for 5+ years. Like, imagine, having to give up what you believed in, a family, your memories you went through, and then also all the gaslighting that comes with it. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So I want you to let that sink in. It's definitely very traumatic. Yes, my diagnosis or diagnoses is PTSD and CPTSD combined. At this point, it's all trauma, really. But have you ever felt like someone else was managing your thoughts? This can stem from childhood. You know how I always made that connection. Childhood, adolescence, the adult years, and where you are currently, but more so it's linked to childhood. But I'm not going to answer that question for you, even though I low-key tried to. Have you ever doubted your own feelings because someone told you that they were wrong or sinful? And do you trust yourself? Like, do you feel that gut feeling? Because I know for me, I'm just now feeling that gut feeling, and it's 28 plus years at this point. My birthday is next week. Your girl is turning 29. Crazy. It's like the pre-introduction to 30. It's like an initiation, if you will. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. And yeah, wanted you to ask yourself those questions. Just pause for a moment. I also wanted to say, as we're pausing, I would really appreciate you all to share my podcast with those who need to hear it, your family, your friends, your coworkers, anyone and everyone, to get the message out. And that rating the podcast, commenting would really help amp up my podcast presence and channel. And I would really appreciate that. It means the world to me. This podcast is everything. And I'm so grateful to be on the mic and to speak my truth, to speak what I've learned over the past couple years and leaving this religious cult. Part 2, my story and how I got pulled in. I joined the cult in a season where I was deeply lost. I wanted direction, community, spiritual clarity, something bigger than myself. And I want to pause on the something bigger than myself. If you feel that way, I'm not going to invalidate you. I'm not going to make you feel worse. But something bigger than myself is concerning. It's like, yes, I care for the world, or yes, I care for this certain nonprofit, or this volunteering I'm doing. That makes sense, okay? Like dedicating a Saturday every month or every, couple months to, whatever passion or interest you have to help the community. That makes sense to say that you want something bigger than yourself. But if you don't have an identity and you are empty and you don't feel like you belong and there's a void and a dark hole, this is going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous to have this perspective. You need to look for yourself within, and you can practice your religion on your own and on your own terms, and you can go to church a couple times here and there. You can church hop, but I would say think for yourself, ask questions, and know who you are. That's a big one. I for the longest time, I did not know who I was. It's like I was looking at myself in the mirror and just saw something else. Like I didn't know who I truly was. Kind of like Beauty and the Beast, maybe. That could be a good example, but it's really what I could see for myself growing up. I just felt very disconnected to myself. So this is also a season where I was, 18 going on 19, or 19 going on 20. Sorry. I was 19 when I joined the cult, obviously, but very young, right? Very, very young. I, just left home for college. I was looking to build community, especially grow my faith, and it just kind of got me somehow. I don't know. I feel like I was a perfect candidate since I don't ask questions. I'm a people pleaser, ex-people pleaser now at this point, and I just wanted to belong. I wanted something bigger than myself, like I just mentioned, and I don't like saying no to people. So, and also, I never was really able to share with my family and friends how I really am and how I really feel due to intense and severe masking and internalizing and suppressing. So I held a lot in my body. And this is why I'm in EMDR therapy and really getting the help that I need. I actually got into EMDR for the first time, like the sessions to, you could say, reprocess the trauma and get back to some kind of normalcy. And so it was really life-changing. It's been life-changing. I'm so amazingly thankful and grateful and blessed to have insurance and to have the ability to go to these sessions and have a therapist who really understands me and who doesn't judge me and who is there for me. And this is Transcend Behavioral Therapy. I'd say Transcend Therapy, and they are on Park Boulevard in San Diego, California. If anyone's interested, you can message me on Instagram, and I will get back to you, obviously. And I just wanted to say that, yeah, I was so lost. I had done everything for the external validation, and this was something that was a call to action for me, and it tugged at my heart, and it felt like it was the right thing. Like I said, at first it felt so beautiful. People were warm and friendly. The answers were clear. Like the Bible verses were matching up. The doctrine was matching everything. It was on point. The math was mathing. There was a promise of safety, of truth, and divine purpose. But that came at a cost. I was slowly trained to just trust my intuition. I was slowly trained to cut off the people who didn't agree with the group. I was slowly trained to obey without question. I was slowly trained to call my suffering spiritual warfare. I was slowly trained to see my individuality as prideful, as sinful, as selfish, as worldly. Even the smallest doubt made me feel like I was betraying God. And I wanted to ask you, as I'm going to delve into this topic, have you ever felt punished for thinking for yourself? When did that start? Have you confused spiritual obedience with emotional suppression? What is emotional suppression to you? And I would just keep an eye out on that, because yes, I think a lot of us in life and society are suppressing. Masking, internalizing, and suppression of expression leads to depression. I know it firsthand, been there, done that, all the above, and it is really, really something. So, but if you are, or you know someone who is going through a mental health crisis, I would say please reach out to family and friends, and reach out to crisis text line, reach out to emergency line, and just really take care of that. Okay, please. So, part 3 is the breakthrough. How did I even leave this darn cult? I didn't even know what a cult was before joining this group, to be honest. It's pretty crazy. I just found out what a cult was in the group, and then after the group, when I delved into the topic of cults are and religious manipulation, and this is all stemming from the beginning of time, you know, with all the crusades and the wars on religion and things like that. And that's not why we came here for this podcast episode. But how did I leave, you might ask, you might wonder. It wasn't one moment, it was unraveling. The cracks began to show when I realized I was disappearing. Completely. I didn't recognize my own thoughts anymore. I was exhausted from trying to be faithful while silently suffering inside. Suffering in silence. I was physically unwell. I was mentally unwell. I was morbidly obese. Still working through that. I was just mentally just really bad state of mind. And shame, fear, and guilt surrounded me, thinking really what it came down to is I'm never good enough. I'm never going to be good enough in this group. They tell me that I could do more. My family told me I could do more. Particular parent. School, academia says I could do more. Everyone says I could do more. Well, you know what? I'm human. You're human. We're human. Okay? Okay. Because, like, that's absolutely crazy to think that we're perfect and life's perfect and it's all so perfect. Like, that's a fucking lie, and that's fucking crazy to think that way, okay? Because I'm perfectly imperfect. That's my motto. Indefinitely. Eternally, maybe. Because that's some BS, truly. Like, that's some BS. I was sick and I had to get iron IV infusions. I was about, even to the point of getting a blood transfusion. I got a bunch of not CAT scans, MRIs, and a bunch of tests, a bunch of blood work. I had migraine syndrome for a bit, but I noticed when I lost weight and when I got to therapy that I didn't have migraines anymore, which is kind of interesting. And I couldn't do it anymore, and I started to look at the discrepancies where, the doctrine and all of this was not matching as far as the doctrine and the promised pastor or the person that is coming in the name of Jesus. He came from a cult, or several cults actually. And so there's a Reddit and there's a bunch of resources that I didn't look at because I was going to burn in hell if I looked at it, right? But eventually I did see the doctrines were not lining up, and it was all lies. So that was a bit of it too, was unraveling those lies. And yeah, the whole thing. And it came crashing down. And one day I said to myself, I think I'm in a cult. And I'm going to need to leave, and I'm going to need to face this world head on, even though I had been out of it for 6 years, and I'd been in another land, another universe, another dimension, and I couldn't unsee it. It was the truth. I was also, a place that has God is not going to kill you to serve in the name of God. So if you are asked to give up your life or to bear your cross or whatever, and it's actually really they're trying to like sleep deprive you, cut you off from your family, tell you to quit your job, just all this gaslighting and love bombing, you're in a cult, you got to get out, and I'm here to help you. I started reading, I listened to my body for the first time in my whole entire life, actually. That's a revelation. That was a true I came to the light, really, with listening to my body. I paid attention to the anxiety and fear that came anytime I questioned the rules. So much of it was suppressed that just my nervous system was shut down for years. And eventually I left. Like I said, I left beginning of 2022, and I am obviously gone, long gone, thank God. But leaving wasn't freedom right away. It was grief, pain, confusion, guilt, and an identity crisis. An identity crisis that took me years to figure out, and even then I'm still figuring it out. At this very moment as I am speaking to you all, I'm still figuring it out. An identity crisis is quite uncomfortable, and I was in a deep, dark depression, drinking every weekend, every day, actually not only on the weekends, every day, 7 days a week. Felt like I had developed some alcoholism, felt like I had developed, some sexual promiscuity. Thank God that had ended long ago. Obviously, binge eating and food being a comfort and stress eating and all that jazz. It was tough. I joked about it. I was like, oh, I was in a cult. Can you believe that? Ah, ha, ha. It's like, no, like, yeah, you're in a cult, but, like, you gotta actually talk about it for real this time. This time, sis. Ooh, I cannot speak today, but we'll blame the crown. We'll blame the crown. Love you, dentist, but thank you. Yes. Okay. Part 4. It's healing after mind control. After you leave a cult, you don't just move on. If anyone says that you just have to move on, you'll be okay and you'll be fine, shut up. You're wrong. You have to rebuild your entire life. Like, who is Blaine? Who is Lucy? Who is Susan and Sally? Who is Ben? Who is Bill and Jack? I don't know where I'm getting these names from. Let's just stop there. Who are you, okay? I had to relearn how to think for myself, to trust my gut, my intuition, my heart, how to choose what I believe, not what I was told to believe. For once in my life, for what I had to choose what I believe. I for the longest time have relied on people to tell me what to do, how to act, and believe what I believe, and that is so wrong, especially in the workplace. Fuck that. Absolutely. Fuck that. That is some BS. Again, I'll say it. You gotta fight for yourself. You gotta put boundaries up. You gotta protect your peace at all costs. Be healthy for you. You gotta do it for you. And here's what helped me. Therapy. Years upon years of therapy, and we have just scratched the surface, ladies and gentlemen, especially trauma-informed EMDR. Journaling. That's my lifeline, really. It really got me able to tune in inside and getting my real voice back on paper. The inner child work, parts work, talking to the girl inside me who just wanted to be safe. And she deserved to be safe. You deserve to be safe. Creating. I'm a creative, naturally. Like, I love talking to people. I love listening to podcasts and research and books and poetry and all of the arts and craftsy things. This podcast, my writing, my healing is now part of my purpose. So ask yourself, what beliefs are you holding that you never actually chose? Where did those beliefs come from? And who benefits when you stay small, quiet, obedient, submissive? Who benefits? Because you sure as hell don't. I want to say thank you for tuning in. If this episode brought up anything for you, if you've ever felt manipulated, coerced, or spiritually gaslit or gaslit in general, please know you're not crazy. You are not broken, not one single bit. You were conditioned, you were controlled, you were manipulated, and you can unlearn it. Forever a learner and an unlearner. The moment you start asking questions, you start reclaiming your power. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave, for being you, for being bold. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear your story. DM me on Instagram. Leave me a comment. This space is for healing. No shame. This space is safe. And I'm here for you. Until next time, you are not alone. And your thoughts are yours again. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on the next episode.